Many of your students, maybe even your own children, may consider joining the military soon. It is important that they know about the rights that they will give up by joining and how it could affect their life forever. When your son joins the military, you naturally worry that he could be killed or wounded. No one prepares you for him being falsely accused and wrongfully convicted of a crime he did not commit. I am here today to help you protect your son from false allegations in the military by sharing my son's story. If I could do it all over again, he would never join the military. I am a proud patriot, but they must fix the broken military justice system. My name is Holly Yeager. I am the mother of Tech Sergeant Robert Andrew Condon, and I am also a retired police officer and a 30-year veteran of the Toledo Police Department. If you are willing to cheat, you can make anyone guilty of a crime. The primary accuser in my son's case described a brutal rape, which included bruising on her legs, marks on her neck from being choked, and a bite wound. The same nurse found zero evidence of any injuries. She also found zero evidence that the accuser had sexual intercourse of any kind with Andy. She used a special light to see even the slightest injury. There was nothing. The first interviewing OSI agent was also unable to see this bruising. OSI ordered a special subdermal camera from Quantico, Virginia, to look beneath the layers of the skin for this severe bite to her shoulder. Zero trauma was seen, but they knew that the camera was working because they saw the layers of her tattoo. Andy's defense attorneys requested background checks on everyone involved in the case. The prosecutors and investigators did not disclose the prior felony conviction of the original accuser. Her felony conviction meant that she had fraudulently enlisted in the Air Force. The request for this information was filed by the Air Force defense attorneys in October of 2013, about a year before Andy's trial. General Vernon, the Deputy JAG of the Air Force, states in this letter to Congresswoman Capter that the defense had the felony conviction information 1 day prior to his post-trial clemency report going in January in 2015. I have proof that we never received it from the Air Force at all. The only reason that we know about it is because we hired our own private investigator who found it in 2017. By that time, it was too late to be used at trial. It was too late to be used at the first Air Force appellate review, and it was rejected by the highest military court because it hadn't been used previously. After spending over $250,000 of our family's life savings to defend my son, if I had had that information even 1 day before my son's post-trial clemency hearing, I certainly would have presented it. Andy's phone was destroyed while in the hands of the prosecution. 55 days of communication between Andy and the original accuser was destroyed. That this valuable evidence to support Andy was lost. This evidence should have been retrievable on the accuser's phone. It was noted by the first interviewing OSI agent that she had 2 phones. The investigators just didn't bother to collect it. All of this was enough to show that the original accuser was lying. But because the military is under such pressure to get convictions in sexual assault cases, the investigators didn't dismiss the case. They began searching to find a credible accuser. They forced Andy's work partner, who had a consensual romantic relationship with him, to become an accuser. They took her phone using an illegal search warrant to do so, and then used her own minor misconduct against her to force her to claim victim status against Andy. She repeatedly stated that she was not a victim, and as an OSI agent herself, she had just finished the advanced course in sexual assault investigation. Shouldn't she know if she were a victim? She felt so strongly that this was wrong that she wrote a 3-page letter to the convening authority begging not to have any part of this trial. And she was ordered to testify as a victim. Next, Andy's friend was interviewed by 2 OSI agents who presented false information and false evidence and accused her of having an affair with Andy. They threatened that they would tell her deployed husband that she was having an affair. Knowing that it wasn't true, she refused to cooperate. But how did this align with the Air Force creed, a tradition of honor, a legacy of valor? Andy was denied the presumption of innocent until proven guilty. When the convening authority threw out 9 drug cases that Andy and his partner had discovered and charged, the convening authority made this decision 120 days before Andy himself was charged with any crime. He made this decision even though 2 of the drug defendants had already been found guilty at their court martials. Andy has still not received a fair appellate review because the prosecutor, who was tasked with creating the record of trial, certifying it, and distributing it to all parties, made a second flawed record and sent it to just Andy's appellate lawyer. She removed 66 pages throughout the record of trial and then renumbered the entire record so that the defense appellate attorney had no idea he was on the complete record. Andy was placed into pretrial confinement and moved 5 hours away from his home. Our family hired him an attorney in that town, and then the Air Force moved him 5 hours away from that attorney, making it impossible for him to assist in his own defense. They placed him in a civilian facility where he was held in solitary confinement for 77 days. This civilian jail was later found to be starving prisoners. Andy lost 40 pounds during this time. The Air Force kept him in pretrial confinement for 344 days before his trial. This violated his right to a speedy trial, not only once, but twice. There is so much more evidence that I want to share. This is just some of the ways that the military cheated to make an innocent man guilty. My son is not the only one. There are many others also falsely accused. We support all true victims, but the military isn't bothering with the evidence. They're just getting convictions, no matter whether the accused is innocent or not. My son is a decorated combat veteran with over 10 years of honorable service to the Air Force. In 2014, the Air Force sentenced him to 30 years in prison. We know that you may not be able to keep your sons from joining, but please make sure that they have all the facts about what's happening to others. Ask the recruiters what the military is doing about false allegations and wrongful convictions. Taking the time to counsel your students and sons will help to protect their future.